What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm here with Tyler today, and we are going to be going over the card. We're going to be looking at the sides, the totals, and the props. And then I was also able to pick Title's brain real quick, so I came up with a quick core that I'll give out at the end of the show with the best bets for a DraftKings lineups. But let's get right into it. Now, Tyler, I know you have not been watching as much NBA as me, but what are your general takeaways from the season so far?
I mean, it seems like the top teams from last year are just holding pat right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Bulls are 3-0, so I mean, I know you were low on them when we did that little preview at the beginning with Mangone, but they seem to be doing pretty well.
I'm still low on them. I think they've had a very favorable schedule to start.
Yeah, they have had a very favorable schedule, but I've been keeping an eye on it. Some of the rookies have balled out. I've seen Mobley's putting up stats. Green put up 30 last night.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, it's great to see. I mean, we knew this class was going to be good, right? Duarte's done great. Josh Giddey had a nice night last night. A lot of these young players doing well. And then Davion Mitchell, right, looking like Defensive Player of the Year out in sack now. I know that's an exaggeration, but he's definitely impressed. And as a Sacramento fan, man, we haven't seen any sort of defense. So to go from, having a bunch of terrible defenders to having a guy like that has been a lot of fun. Let us jump into tonight's card. Hold on, let me reset up my bookmaker at one to refresh me. All right, the first game, and I like this game, Tyler. The Milwaukee Bucks down to -2. Why are the Pacers taking money, Tyler? I don't get it. I think this is a smash spot for the Bucks. Oh wait, Drew Holiday's out. I don't think it matters. Oh wait, Brooke Lopez is out. I don't think it matters. If you guys watch the Run Pure Sports DFS show, what do they always say? Athletic bigs against the Pacers. Who's out there tonight?
Yeah,
Giannis, right?
one.
That's the cream of the crop right there. So I like the Milwaukee Bucks here. Call me square. Market likes the Pacers. What do you think?
I mean, I don't hate the Bucks here. I see that their bench could be a little short because not only the guys you named are out, I see Bobby Portis could also be out. And
I thought he was supposed to make his debut tonight.
He's questionable, and
I think he might play.
Ojule's already rolled out. So
does he even matter?
I don't think so much, but
I don't want semi-Ojale minutes. Do you remember semi-Ojale minutes on Boston?
I mean, they're bad, but that really makes their bench really thin.
Yeah, that might almost be better though, because I can get the better players in there. I don't want Budenholzer to be even tempted by those semi-Ojale minutes. I don't even know how he. Okay, we'll move on.
But speaking of Giannis against these bigs, his points props 28.5. We got to go over there.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think
especially coming off kind of like he had kind of a pedestrian game against San Antonio, right? I mean, they were able to get the win, but Zeta God says don't sleep on him. I mean, man, I wish I get a good night's sleep. Especially with the Bucks stars out. It's really just Drew Holiday's out, right? So that should mean that Brogdon would have a bigger game, right? But I still think this team can do pretty good regardless. They got Giannis, they got Middleton, and the rest of those shooters, Connaughton and company out there. So I still think they're going to be doing pretty good. So you like the Giannis prop over? What other prop do you like?
That's probably the only one from that game is over on the points.
I think so too. I think that maybe you can look at a Brogdon number. My concern is a tad bit inflated. He had a pretty nice night, and that was the upset win over. Who'd they get that one over?
Was that the Washington game they got in overtime?
Oh, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. pretty wild game there, huh? So, all right, we will stay away from that. 3 new games added, huh, bookmaker? All right, we got some for tomorrow. There's one that I like. I'm going to have to place that while we talk about the next game. The Boston Celtics are +1 heading to Charlotte. We got a little bit of uncertainty on the injury front here, though, right? We're not sure about Jaylen Brown, right, who missed the last game?
Yeah, I think. Let me see. Let me pull up the injury report.
He's questionable right now still.
Yeah, I see questionable with a left patella injury. So him, Al Horford still questionable. Rozier's out on the other side. And P.J. Washington questionable. So, I mean, this could be a pretty boring game. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's going to be exciting because the Hornets are so much fun to watch with LaMelo Ball. As far as getting involved in the side of the total, I'm completely fine on passing and saying, hey, we don't have enough information, right? Because I think the last thing you want to do is take the Celtics +1 and then find out Jaylen Brown's not playing, right? because
Yep.
then it would be +4, right? So and I don't really want to try and guess because I think there's spots that we can find a definitive edge and not like oh well if we get this number now then the guy doesn't play style edge. So I'm fine staying away from it. Same deal on the total 224. Seems like that's weird. On bookmaker, right? +1's -13. And then the money line's -108, and then -1 is -103. That's just weird that the money line is more even than the point spread there. It's fine with staying away from the total as well. So props, of course, we could attack Robert Williams and Jason Tatum if Jalen sits. Otherwise, well, the props will get moved. It's not like DK where it's static, right?
Yeah, I mean, they'll
Yeah.
move as like player news comes out, a guy's rolled out of the game, they'll move a couple cents. They'll even move like a whole point. So
Right.
you'll
So I
see
mean,
that.
so we wouldn't even be able to attack Tatum after the news, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one I was looking at, you got to think like Marcus Smart kind of forces LaMelo to pass a bit more. And I mean, he is one of the better passers in the league. His assist number is set at 5.5, -135 to the over.
Yeah.
But we could just take 8+ assists on FanDuel at +235. I don't hate that.
Are we worried about his minutes? He didn't play in the fourth quarter of that win.
And I'm not really that worried about it that much. I think it'll be fine.
Jonathan Nelson's here with the Lakers gear on. Finally got their first win last night. All right, so we like the LaMelo assist over, and I'm with you there. What a fun, creative passer he is. Hey, usually we don't like laying a lot of points, but I'm doing it in this next game, Tyler. The Orlando Magic +13 against the Miami Heat, a very low total of 211. The Magic got their first win last evening, right? If I'm correct. And Cole Anthony had a really good game. And of course, the Miami Heat had the real big win over the Milwaukee Bucks to start the season. And then they dropped their next game, if I remember right. Let me pull that up and make sure. Yeah, they lost to Indiana. That was kind of weird. It was in Indiana. Maybe that's why we're getting all that value because, hey, they beat the Heat, so they think that they're going to beat the Bucks. What do you think of this game? I'm laying it. I laid it. I laid 13. I know it sounds crazy, but I think Orlando's that bad.
I mean, I don't hate it. They're coming off of that big win last night. I think, didn't they hit a buzzer beater in that game to win that?
In which game?
The game against the Knicks from last night.
They beat the Knicks last night?
I'm almost positive they beat
Oh
the
yeah,
Knicks
I'm
last
sorry.
night.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I'm so sorry. I was thinking of Miami. No. Yeah, you're right. They did. They had a buzzer beater win, and then I got thrown off. Why does people think I'm in witness protection? I've been on like almost every single morning. Holden. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to get Holden on the show. All right, back to the game though. Yeah, they did have that buzzer beater against the Knicks. Pretty exciting, I guess, for the Magic fan. You might as well just go 0-82 with this roster. Anyways, I like Miami tonight. Am I crazy?
No, I don't hate it. I wouldn't even hate like a Miami first half because you'd get a better number there. Maybe get like a 6.5 or a 7.
That's a good point.
You think maybe they're blowing them out and then they put in the scrubs at the end.
And if you
So
think about it, Orlando's so young that they don't really need to pull those young guys.
yeah,
They
they'll
don't need to
leave their
pull their
guys in.
starters. The starters need the time. They need the reps.
Yep. So I would go first half in that game before I would go.
All right,
Full
let me
game.
see what that number is.
I see 8.5 on FanDuel.
I got -8, -103 on Bookmaker. You think that's okay? You think that's better than the 13 total?
I think so because I think you'll have the starters for the majority of those minutes in the first half. They could be
Yeah.
up 25 at half.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
see
I
any
was hoping
props
it'd be
listed for this
7 or
game yet,
7.5
I think
Okay.
Tyler Hero is going to have a big game.
again, and they pumped him up on DraftKings, so he actually stayed out of my lineup today about my little core. But I had been playing him, and he's been doing fantastic. So that's a nice turn of events for Miami because Hero had a great rookie year. Definitely hit the sophomore slump right now. He's back full game. He says, "Wouldn't the under be better?" That's a good question. What do you think, Tyler?
I mean, I don't hate it. Maybe an Orlando team total under.
Hmm.
Maybe that's a better way to approach it.
Yeah, with Miami's defense, I think
Yeah.
that is a good way to go. Let me see what that number
Miami's
would
defense,
be.
they're on a back-to-back off a big
I'll bet
win.
you it's not super low. It's 99. What do you think?
I mean, that's tough. Let me pull up the pace numbers for these teams through the
All right.
first 3 games.
Pull up those pace numbers and we'll see what else. Our guy Lamar Jackson, who had a rough day against the Bengals yesterday. I don't know if you saw the NFL show earlier. I was lamenting that. But our guy Lamar Jackson took some break from practice to jump in here and say Tyler Hero's a monster.
Miami's ranked 16th and Orlando's ranked 28th. So we could have a slower paced game here. Let me see how their defense is holding up. Miami's got the second ranked defense, so I like that.
They should. I mean, look at the squad.
And Orlando's offense comes in ranked at 24th. So I think there is a good chance they hold them under 100 today.
All right, so let's say we don't want to put too much in this game because it's an absolutely terrible game.
Yep.
Would you rather play this team total under or the -8 first half?
If I had to play pregame, it'd be the -8 first half.
Okay.
If I can bet it live, I would hope they come out in the first quarter and I can get that team total at like 106 and go under.
Oh, yeah, that's a great way to look. All right, and you will be on there with Jay tonight, so make sure you are keeping eyes on that. And, guys, in the chat, sometimes we say this and then we forget. When you're in the chat, remind us because, we were talking about some NFL on when I was on there Thursday night, right? And then someone said, hey, you wanted the Clippers at double digits. They're plus 10 now, moved all the way to 11. We grabbed it at 11. So that's why the chat is part of the show. So definitely remind Tyler to keep an eye on that, especially if Orlando gets off to a hot start. So I like Miami there. You like the first half. We both like the team total under. But if you want to stay away from that game, I say there's nothing wrong with that at all. The aforementioned Chicago Bulls, who I was down on, Tyler, they get a test tonight in Toronto. Toronto's a team that I'm not really sure what to make of. They look pretty bad to open, but we were pretty high on them to start the year. They've looked a little better now. Let me see what their most recent game was. They lost to Dallas by 8, and that was at home. Before that, they had won in Boston, and before that, they had lost to Washington at home. So 0-2 at home so far, looking to get their first home win after returning to the friendly confines of Canada. Chicago open 1.5, now a 2-point favorite. I'm not getting involved in this game, Tyler. I don't even have a lean. I don't know what to make of this. Preseason projections versus what we've seen so far, right? So I'm fine staying away because, I'm not really sure what to make of it. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's definitely a spot where you could arb this game live. I think both teams grab the lead at a certain point.
Okay.
But we've touched on it before in that preview, this Chicago team, outside Alonzo and that starting lineup and Patrick Williams, defense isn't that good. And Vucevic is questionable. He might miss tonight. I don't hate taking a Scotty Barnes double-double at plus 500 for a half unit. He could just eat on the boards, and he should put up 10 points. And I also don't hate his points, rebounds, and assists at 23.5. You get plus 115 on that. I think he can have a monster day against the Chicago team.
All right, I like that a lot too. Like I said, I'm really I think the 212 is a little low.
I agree there. I think it's a little low, but I think you might be able to get a better live number because these two teams, I think, start off games pretty slow.
Yeah, and also it's just I don't know. I don't really feel the need to get involved in every side in total. I think there's just way better spots there. And there's not even pools where we pick every game in the NBA. Actually, I think BetOnline has a contest that I'm in where I do that. So let me jump on and do that.
Let's see what we can get on a Patrick Williams double-double too, because he should be the guy getting all the rebounds for Chicago if Vucevic does miss.
Yeah, he should. Yeah, I'd be surprised if he misses. So he's questionable, right? I think. Why are they even doing that?
They said he has an illness.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think there's a better chance he does miss. That could be just one of them random ones.
Then I definitely don't want to get involved in this game because why would you lay 2 with Chicago right now if you think he's going to miss? And that'll probably move the line to what, pick?
Yeah, that's what I would say, right around a pick.
I think he's worth 2 points. I'd have to look. Who would be backing him up if he plays? So who moves in the starting lineup then?
Let me double check that one. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, let me.
They might even go small there, because Thad Young was moved in the offseason, right?
Yeah, Thad Young got moved in the DeRozan trade, which is one of the reasons I was down on it.
Let's see.
All right, so I'm pulling up center. Tony Bradley is a backup center.
He would probably get the start then.
Who's S. Johnson? Stanley Johnson is a power forward for them. He's too small. Patrick Williams can play small ball 5. Who's D. Jones Jr.? They have Derek Jones Jr. too. He's too small.
Yeah, they would probably start Bradley and play a bunch of small ball lineups.
What about Javonte Green? Think he gets any run there or no?
No, I don't think so.
All right. If he's out, I like the Bulls more, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I don't think him being out hinders them that much because I think it makes their defense better, and that's why I was kind of thinking the DeRozan.
If he's out, give me the over too because I think that speeds up the game. It
Yeah,
doesn't
the
kind of
only
like
thing is
force him into
you'll
the
actually
post.
might have someone good down low playing.
Yeah, but I don't think Tony Bradley's that like great of a defender.
Oh no, he's not. I don't think he's that bad though. He's probably better than Vukovic is right now. So, all right, different ways to attack this game, but let's wait on the news, and that's a common theme for this NBA rundown. I mean, if it wasn't the fact that the DFS guys go, I'd probably lobby to do this show at 3:30 Pacific and 6:30 Eastern because so many of these games are really hard to get involved with without the news. But that's what's also great about the live show that will be featuring Tyler tonight. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get notified when they go live to give out the winners. Detroit Pistons plus 11.5 against Atlanta. So I don't really have like the model up and running yet. But to me, just a quick glance, this number seems about right. I think the Pistons, initially, I was kind of leaning towards taking Detroit here. I think that they have a nice athletic lineup that tries hard and can play close. Uh, Once again, Jeremiah Grant questionable on that side. I don't want to be on Detroit without him. They will need him to keep up scoring. Gallinari is questionable on the other side. I think it's much easier for Atlanta to absorb that loss because I think do have one of the deepest, most talented rosters in the league, especially if you're comparing the 6 through 10 and you throw out the starters. So that's my feelings there. I didn't get involved, but I lean towards Detroit, and I like the over here. Boy, a bunch of 212s today. What are your thoughts on this game, Tyler?
I mean, this is one I'm probably going to stay away from. I just don't like any of the props. I think Atlanta might smash them, but I could see Detroit fighting late and getting that backdoor cover on you. And the first half line doesn't intrigue me that much either, so just complete stay away from me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Zay. I'm glad.
Actually, one spot I might look at, Saban Lee has been, Saban Lee has been shooting the ball very well. I'd probably look at his over on his points prop if they open that back up.
To me, he's just a great backup point guard. Like if he's your starter, you're in trouble. But boy, that gives you a good 10 to 18 quality minutes, and you have to be happy with that if you're Detroit. And
I
I
always get
like,
him and Sadiq Bey mixed up. I might have the names
yeah. So
mixed up again.
Saban Lee's all small. Sadiq Bey's like a forward. Saban Lee's more of like almost like your prototypical like point guard that's just like really good, but just not athletic enough for the NBA. You know what I'm saying? But would like be really good at any other level.
Yeah,
That's kind of where I am on Saban Lee right now. So
I meant Sadiq Bey. I had him mixed up.
okay, yeah, and
He's been
I was
averaging
surprised too
six.
because Saban Lee hasn't been getting that many. You has only like 16 minutes a game, I think, and a lower usage. But I do like what he does. Sadiq Bey is definitely a great young draft pick by Troy Weaver, and I like the roster they're putting together. And West Coast has got it. They just need Cade, right? They need their centerpiece.
Yeah, I
So
mean they can get back the second player or the second best player in this past draft class because the first is in Houston.
yeah, Shangun.
Yeah, the guy that's barely putting up any stats.
Eric Chang, glad you could join us. Let's have some fun here, Tyler. The Washington Wizards are plus 6.5, taking on the Brooklyn Nets. This line moved. I agree with the market, man. This line open, and people could not get money down on the Wizards fast enough. I completely agree here. I think this Nets team's going to be the Nets and the Lakers are the same, right? They're going to be awesome come the playoffs, but they need these time to get together. The rotations aren't set, and I don't know if it was you and I that talked about this or someone else, but Steve Nash, boy, to put him in that situation as a coach with no experience, I think this is where like some of the flaws of that decision are coming through. I think he's really struggling with his rotations. To me, it seems like there's too much experimentation going out there, especially with the big man rotation. I think he'll figure it out, but I think they're going to take some losses, especially against the spread, until they figure it out. Tyler, of course, it wouldn't be an NBA handicap without a superstar being questionable. So Bradley Beal obviously is a concern here. If he sits, I'll be a little disappointed, but I actually think they can absorb the offense without him. Dinwiddie's just a great point guard. I think he fits so much better next to Beal rather than Russell Westbrook did. Tyler, I tried to give a pretty strong take on why I like Washington here. Do you agree with my assessment, or do you want to tell me why I'm wrong and I should be bumping some Biggie Smalls chant in Brooklyn?
No, I do. I agree with you. I think this could be like that spot where Brooklyn comes out. They play pretty flat. It's on a back to back. Harden is I seen they were saying something, they made him the poster boy for not getting these foul calls. And I think he shot one free throw last game.
Mm-hmm.
So we know he's frustrated. We might have a big game out of him.
They'll probably correct that real quick too, especially if they're talking about it.
Yeah, I could see him getting a ton of free throws
So that
today.
kind of sucks for the play. Yeah.
But you touched on it. Bradley Beal might not play, but
Mm-hmm.
I see props listed for him, and his points are at 30 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That keeps Dinwiddie pretty low right now. His are 18 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
This is his return to Brooklyn. Give me the over at 18 and a half. He's definitely hitting the 20s in this game.
I like that play because obviously you get the bump if Beal sits, but and this is the key on these ones if you want to play. Oh, in case someone sits, you got to like it even if he plays, and I like it even if he plays. This would be actually a good question.
I seen he put up 30 the other night spread.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the Nets don't have really good point guards that play defense.
Uh-uh.
25 to score 25 plus points, Dinwiddie plus 330. To score 30 plus 11 to 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
that
I'm
might
not
be worth the sprinkle.
I'm not hashtag team revenge angle like Mangone, but it does seem like his teammates know, right? They're gonna try
Yeah,
and get him the
they're gonna
ball.
feed him the ball.
Yeah, they're gonna let him go. No one's gonna say anything if he's jacking up shots. This is a great question though. Who's more confused right now, the Nets or the Lakers?
Jeff hit it right on the head. He said they don't play any defense regardless of rotation.
Yeah, he did. Great comment there. Nets or Lakers? Who's more confused right now?
I'd say the Lakers. They just have too many new pieces and they're trying to fit everything in.
Yeah,
Guys
which
are
is
hurt.
surprised because I would think that Vogel would have the experience to navigate that a little better. But I think that it's not 2K, right? I
Yep.
mean, these guys have a big voice in the locker room, and you can know what's right. But if LeBron disagrees with you, that's kind of what you're doing. I remember when I was supervisor at UPS, it was the same thing. Like, if my best worker didn't like my plan, we're going with his plan because you need your best guy bought in. And I think that might be some of the problems that Vogel's having right now. It might not be LeBron. I think it's Anthony Davis in that week. I don't want to play the 5 stuff, but that's been talked about enough. Let's talk about a game that I cashed on Saturday night, and I want to go back to the well, Tyler, but I want your thoughts on it. The Timberwolves are down to 5.5. This closed at 7.5 on Saturday night, and it was looking like an easy cash till Towns fouled out with 4 minutes to go. And that's to me what made it, get kind of close there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm underrating the Pelicans. But number one, I didn't like their offseason moves, even if Zion's healthy. Like, why did they get rid of Lonzo? Like, he's in the timeline. He fits well with your superstar. That was just odd to me. And then they replaced him with Devontae Graham, who, yeah, okay, he gives you a little more space, right? But Lonzo wasn't that bad a three-point shooter. Devontae Graham can create his own shot better, but you're losing on defense and you're losing on playmaking and passing, especially in transition here. So I think that's a bit of a downgrade there. Obviously, Zion being out is hurting this team a lot as they became kind of Zion-centric over last year. Josh Hart questionable as well. Everybody looked like they will be ready to play for the Timberwolves. So Tyler, what sucks is that when they just establish these back-to-backs, though, a lot of times they flip-flop last year. Do you think I'll be the victim of the flip-flop, or do you think I have the right side in the Timberwolves?
I think we have the right side in this one because I'm with you on the Timberwolves. I think the Pelicans are one of the bottom 3 teams in this league right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they just stink. I don't like the rotation. There's a few guys I like on the team outside of Zion, of course, but there's just not a good cohesion there yet. And the Timberwolves seem like a hungry team, so I think they win and cover. I was looking at you could get top point scorer in the games on DraftKings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you had to pin 2 guys down, who would they be? Cat and Anthony Edwards, right?
Right.
Cat's plus 195 and Edwards is plus 300. So you just play them both and cross your fingers that Brandon Ingram and D'Angelo Russell don't get you.
Yeah, that's for sure. But honestly, Russell's usage, I've been impressed with Russell becoming more of the traditional point guard and not just dominating the ball. He's been I was worried about him and A1 mixing, but A1 from day one's getting shots, and he had a terrible game. So obviously I watched every minute of it because it was an official play for Run Pure Bet subscribers, so I was quite invested in it. And Anthony Edwards had a terrible game. That was another reason I wanted to lay it again. I'm like, gosh, if he would have even just shot half his normal shooting. Also, was having problems getting fouls, and then he got frustrated. That's still like a flaw of him. He's so young. That he gets frustrated a little easier than some of these veterans, especially when he's not getting the foul calls.
Remember, you didn't like Anthony Edwards at first?
Until he did a WWE interview, and now he's my favorite guy.
He'll be fine. I was like, he's really good. And then, interview came, and he was Spread's favorite player now.
Well, okay, it's like Jamar Chase. He tricked me, right? Because he did that full interview talking about how he loves football, and he just plays basketball because he's good at it. right? And just like Jamar Chase, he threw me off, right? But then he gave me another one interview where he told me he would be what did he say? He would win at golf. He could beat Michael Phelps at swimming. And I'm
He's
like,
like, I
never
could do
mind.
anything.
Yeah, this is the attitude that you want in your number one draft pick, and he plays with that same attitude too. Very aggressive towards getting to the rim. I think he fits with Karl Anthony Towns
The more
quite
I
well.
look at it,
So
I like him plus 300 to be the top point scorer in that game over Cat. But I mean, you take them both as insurance.
the only thing is, I would guess that Cat's probably gonna have 5 to 8 more attempts.
I was just looking at that though, and Anthony Edwards has outshot him in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I know, but you got to remember Cat fouled out.
Yeah, that is true.
So and then he kind of had to force up a lot towards the end there. Actually, when he fouled out, the offense did get kind of discombobulated, but they were able to pull it out. So all right, well I think it's worth a punt on both, right? Almost like an arm situation, and then you just hope that they don't get you there. So this total's 225
Yep.
and a half. It was 225 at the last game. They finished under 200. I originally thought it would flip flop to the over, but will we see a 30-point correction here? We saw a lot of 30-point corrections on these back to backs last year.
I think so. I think it flip flops back. I think the offense comes from
Yeah.
Minnesota. I think
Uh-huh.
they just pour on points here, and I think Pelicans get you
Yeah.
into the hundred. So I
Yeah.
think that'll put you up over.
Yeah. And as my guy Andy from the deep dive will tell you, there's nothing more exciting than a Friday night in Minnesota. So no wonder they were all hungover, but they should be okay today. Let's go to the next one. The Cleveland Cavaliers plus 9.5 against the Denver Nuggets. I don't know what to make of this game. I really don't. And number seems pretty good, and I don't really know what to make of the Cavs. And let's just give the full disclosure here. I haven't watched much of the Cavaliers yet. I know that Mobley's been putting up good stats, but I haven't really seen what's going on. I don't think I've been involved in one of their games yet. And when they tip off tonight, I still won't be involved in one of their games, right? Unless you tell me there's a side and you show me the edge, I'm glad to get involved. But I think this line seems about right. Denver by double digits. Seems it's about 50-50 chance to happen, right? That they win by 10 or they win by 5. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd be more likely to think they win by 10, but I don't like to discount these young teams so early. So talk to me, Tyler. Help me with this game. And should we stay away or am I missing a profitable angle?
I mean, I'm not playing anything on the side or total because this would be the spot where like Denver beats up on them. But we seen Denver sleepwalk games a lot last year.
Mm-hmm.
And we seen the Cavs start the year off pretty hot last year before they tailed off. They're setting Mobley's rebounds prop at 6.5. We got to think that's way too low.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like that.
even though there are going to be like 4 7-footers on the floor to start this game between Jokic and the 3 guys that start for Cleveland, at plus 105, give me the over on that 6.5. I think he gets you double-digit rebounds here.
Who is Cleveland starting besides Jared Allen?
Evan Mobley and Larry Markkinen.
Oh yeah, they do.
And then the 2 small guards and Colin Sexton and
I
Darius
kind of like
Garland.
that, don't you?
I mean, until a fast team rolls in and just steamrolls you because you can't defend them. They just run right past you.
Yeah,
Like a
but
small ball team.
at least they're trying. At least they're trying something new and different.
Yeah.
Let's talk to our guy Jake. He says Denver -6 first half, so only bet of the day for him. Hopefully we can convince you to get on some others, Jake. But I like your reasoning here, and here's what he says: Cavs are not good on the road. True. I think Denver is still going to have a significant edge at home. Very true. And the Cavs are still playing no defense so far this season. So Jake gives you, we're afraid to get involved, but if you want to go with our guy Jake, he gave you a good reason why you should play Denver the first half. Total's 220. Once again, that seems right. Like I said, I'm not going off a model yet. Model won't be here until 5 games in the season, so I'll be building it sometime this week. So I'm kind of just going off feel right now. 220 seems about right, though. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, that seems about right. I'd probably maybe lean under. We've seen Denver slow the ball down. They like to feed it to Jokic on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to put that up over, they got to shoot a crazy percentage.
Okay.
And just like Jake said in the chat, Cleveland's still playing no D this far.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they could shoot that well, but I just don't see it in this spot. I think they're going to come out a little slow.
All right, let's go to the final game of the night. The Portland Trailblazers are +3 heading down to Los Angeles to take on the Clippers, who I think are going to be a little bit undervalued. I think everyone's writing them off because Kawhi Leonard's not there, but I still think that they're like a solid team, that's a playoff caliber team. But the results haven't showed it, right? As they've opened the season with 2 losses. Portland has opened the season 1-1. They lost to my Sacramento Kings. That was a weird game. And then they stomped Phoenix. Phoenix in the quote unquote let down spot, coming off the big national TV win over the Lakers. So now the 0-2 Clippers face the 1-1 Portland Trailblazers in Los Angeles. What I say that line was Clippers -3. Yeah. What are you thinking here, Tyler?
I mean, I think this is a spot where Paul George could just blow up. You see, Norm Powell's already out on the other
Yeah.
side, and they already really had nobody to defend him. So maybe they try
You're
and
not
throw
big
some
on
Covington
Rocco.
on.
He's not the best. He's not the best on
Yeah,
ball
not
defender.
anymore. It seems like he's lost some of that like lateral quickness.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's probably in his 30s now, isn't he? I mean,
Yeah,
when was the process? Like 2014.
yep, and we know Paul George is going to get a ton of shots here,
Mm-hmm.
leading the league in scoring. By the way, 35
Yeah.
points a game. So
And of course, he'll continue to get disrespected. I don't even know why, like, people hate him so much. He had like one bad playoff performance.
yeah, and he played great last year, and
Yeah.
everyone should have seen it rolling over into this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, points props 28.5. I don't hate taking the over there.
Okay.
I seen his threes are 3.5 plus 150. So you're
I
getting
like
nice
that
boost
better.
there.
I
Yeah,
like
he's
that
going to
better.
shoot probably like 8 of them tonight.
Okay.
So I don't hate that either.
All right. On the
Nothing
Portland
on the
side,
side or total though.
what about the Portland side for props?
I mean, CJ McCollum's been playing pretty good. It seems like Dame takes a couple games into the season before he heats up. So I still don't really want to play with his props. None of the other guys really intrigue me, so probably just the Paul George one for me in this game.
All right. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to give out a quick core. We weren't able to bring on a team member from Run Pure Sports today, but we did do it with Titletown this morning, and he was kind enough to spend an extra time after the show to help us come up with a quick core. So, Tyler, best spend up on the slate. I thought it was Giannis. And I think that that's the player that you should be spending up for going against those Indiana Pacers. But what do you think? If you have the money, Jokic is looking pretty good. The guy Paul George you just mentioned, of course, Giannis. We got KD, Towns, Harden, Trae Young, Dame. Who do you think is the best spend up on this slate? I think it's Giannis.
I mean, I agree with you. I think it's Giannis because you figure one of his other co-stars is going to be out, so he's going to get a ton more usage.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it was already ridiculous. Yeah.
Jokic is going to be amongst a bunch of trees down there. I could see his rebounds coming in like under double digits. Like maybe he only gets like 7 rebounds this game.
Mm-hmm.
And then the points could differ too there because he's not going to get anything easy at the rim. But maybe Paul George gets a ton of points tonight, but give me Giannis as the spend up.
All right. We're also going to throw on Jordan Nwora on there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. And then the Trae Young one, I could see them blowing Detroit out, and he doesn't get enough run to get you there.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. So, not to mention that's a deep team that they don't need all the usage from them. So we also like Jordan Nwora on there to run it back in the same game. We're going to throw some Jeremy Lamb on there. And then to get different, I thought that Terrence Mann might have a breakout game. He hasn't been good so far in fantasy, but don't you think this is a good team to get right against this weak backcourt of the Portland Trailblazers?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I was thinking either Anunoby or Barnes is in a great spot.
Yeah, I like both those
team
too.
Ain't going to play any defense against them wings.
Yeah, you're right. And Anunoby, really rough for AP when we put him on our core on Friday night, even though we were able to do really well overall. And then he turns around, of course, blows up the next night. And we had the same issue with Jalen Green, right? I put him in that Friday night. If he would have had the night he had on last night, on Friday night, I would be. Let's see. I wouldn't be wearing an old Nike sweatshirt. Let's just put it that way. And remember, guys, we are. This is just something that Title helped us with. If you really want the pro DFS picks, head on over to runpuresports.com. If you're not already a member, use the promo code GetBets. That will go ahead and give you access to our plays as well. Speaking of our plays, Tyler, it's time for it. Have you done a best bet segment with me yet this year?
I haven't.
Actually, and then with you not here,
we did the first.
Oh yeah, the first one, and we were wrong. But since then, we've been crushing. Except for on certain days, I forget to do it. So, and that makes me mad. But we give out a bunch of winning plays regardless. But let's go back to it. People love it. Greg Russo hasn't joined us yet, but I'm hoping he's watching on the replay and appreciating this segment, the Gregory Russo Best Bet segment. Tyler, what do you got?
I'm torn between two.
You can give out two, Tyler. We haven't seen you for a while.
Give me the Mobley over 6.5 rebounds at plus 105.
Okay.
And then Dinwiddie's revenge game. Give me the over 18.5 there. And then I'm sprinkling all the way up to 30 plus at like 12 to 1.
All right. Let me see. I like two as well. Just to let you guys know stuff I've played already. I took the Bucks. I took the Heat. I took the Wizards. And I took the Timberwolves. But out of all of those, give me the new look Washington Wizards to continue to confuse the Brooklyn Nets. And I think it'd be a game like last night where we jumped in a little bit on Memphis pregame, and then real close game. You don't know who's going to win, but having that 6 points in your pocket just makes it really enjoyable to watch the game. So sometimes when we take the points, we sprinkle the money line as well. What do you think, Tyler? Should we sprinkle on the Wizards too, or just take the points and call it a day?
I mean, I don't hate it. Brooklyn's on a back-to-back. I could see them kind of like playing these stars a little lower minutes than usual.
Yeah.
And I mean, Washington could want this game more than Brooklyn right now because we know Brooklyn might coast all the way to the playoffs and just come in as like a 4 seed.
And they might as well, right? I mean,
yep.
So they're going to have to figure out that situation. You can't waste a whole max slot. We saw it with the Warriors last year, right? You just, you can be good, but it's really hard to be championship contender when you're just throwing away a full max slot, like you are with Kyrie Irving, where you're paying $30 million out of, I don't know what the salary cap is off the top of my head, but 150, 30 of 150 going to
dead weight.
Yeah,
just nothing right now.
Nothing. Yeah. So, hey, we got one question here. We'll take care of the question before we get out of here. Eddie wants to know, McCollum's averaging 6 threes a game. DK has over 3.5 plus 155. Is it worth a look?
I don't hate it. He's shooting better than Lillard right now, so he's going to get the looks.
Yeah.
And this Clippers team, the guards don't play very good defense, so high total in that game, that could definitely be a look right there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's not a bad look at all. So everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow at 12:30. Travis Mangone will be guiding us through the DFS. And then Tyler and I will be doing double duty. So I'm not sure. Are you going to do NBA with us tomorrow, or are you just going to do NFL only tomorrow?
No, I'll be both.
Oh, wow. Double duty for both of us tomorrow, guys. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Because we're doing NFL and NBA, and sometimes we have to rework the schedule. So we try to be set. Right now, the idea is we do NFL at 10 a.m. and NBA at 12:30, but it is subject to change. So since we know that, please subscribe to the channel. And hey, while you're already there, click on the thumbs up button. Help us get, I don't know what we do. We get higher in an algorithm or something. That seems pretty cool. But anyways, like the video, subscribe to the channel, head on over to runpurebets.com, become a member, join the Discord, have fun with all the winning plays. Tyler, what are we up right now? Like 20-something units?
What, just in this month?
Or since August, since
reset? August? I mean, you're way too low spread. I know that. Give me 1 second. We are... Year to date this year, we're up 58.5 units. Just in October, we're up 25 units.
Yeah, so go ahead and come on over, become a member of runpurebets.com. I do not think you will regret it. I would say I would guarantee it, but I don't know. Some people have weird regrets, but I do not think you will regret it. Thank you for hanging out. We will be back tomorrow. Oh, if you're subscribed to the channel, you're going to get the live notification to see Tyler live tonight as he live bets his way through the NBA and NFL. Thank you for watching. Run Pure.